Hello, welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense. You know what I like most about Kenyans? Our ability not to give a shit.
Sijakusikia, nilikuwa nakula. I was sitting when you were talking.
You didn't hear me talking because you were eating when I was talking.
That guy would not give a single shit if he had a bag full of shit.
Kwani Kenya tuna nini?
Kiniangalia na kama mtu akuolewa akiwa na deli.
I'm not yours. Mimi siwe sasa siwezi jua kama kuna deni.
But sometimes we take our not giving a shit attitude a bit too far. Like our tendency to select the same people to represent us, even when they prove inept time after time. Which brings me to today's show. Raila Amolo Odinga. The answer to the question, what if political ambition and never say die attitude had a baby? You also know him as Baba, Nyundo, Tinga, or Agwambo, which I'm told means unpredictable. Right, my little brothers? If so, it's a very apt description of the man. Because even right this minute, he's toying with the idea of running again for president in 2022. But the moniker I like best for Raila is Kitendawili. Fellow Kenyans, Kitendawili. Asiyesikia la mkuu? You know the answer to that. Back to Raila. Raila is a man so synonymous with change, there should be a picture of him next to the word chameleon in the dictionary. In recent memory, it is hard to imagine the Kenyan political scene without Raila in it. Raila gained prominence in politics way back in 1982 when his name came up severally, associated with the August 1st coup attempt against then President Moi. Fun fact about the coup. Did you know that all types of businesses were ransacked during the chaos apart from one? Dare to guess it? Go on, I'll wait. No? Bookshops. No bookshop was raided during the coup. Probably why it is said if you want to hide something from a Kenyan, hide it in a book. And I should know. One time my wife hid 1,000 shilling note in a book as a surprise for me. I never saw it for a year. But in my defense, it was in the Bible. I mean, who reads the Leviticus, right? Actually, another fun fact. The least read book of the Bible is Obadiah, the book after Hosea, right? Wrong. The book after Hosea is Joel, then Amos, then our good old Obadiah. See how easy it is to confuse you? But this is true. Raila's father was veteran politician Oginga Odinga, who went toe-to-toe with President Kenyatta after independence. The man famously said to have vowed to sit on the presidential chair, if only for a day. Unluckily, he passed on before he did. Following the coup, Raila was jailed along with Dr. John Khaminwa, Gitobu Imanyara, Kenneth Matiba, Reverend Timothy Njoya, Charles Rubia, among others. This set up Raila's mantra as a man who is keen to bring about change in Kenya. In 1992, he was elected MP for Langata, a seat he held until 2013. If you remember, in 92 to 94, he served alongside his father. And then came 1997, first time Raila ran for president. From then on, he would run in every subsequent election to date. You can say he's like your ex-girlfriend who just won't give up. No, Magdalene, I'm married now. We can't do that no more. Or that girl in the 27 Dresses movie.
It's really not the worst one. If I had to pick one, I got a good one. It's my favorite.
Oh my God, what the hell is that?
Theme wedding.
What was the theme? Humiliation? God! No, people do not have gone with the win weddings.
I've been to 3.
Y'all say Bentley.
You should really watch 27 Dresses. I mean, 27 weddings as a bridesmaid. Just so. Na kwangu a single wedding is one too many. Keeping up with the wedding analogy, in the 97 election, Moi ended up being the bride, Kibaki the maid of honor, while Raila was just a bridesmaid. But that did not stop him from wanting to get married, right? In 2002, he went to yet another wedding where he ended up being the bridesmaid with Kibaki as the bride. But this time, the chameleon in Raila bubbled to the surface. In a meeting called to address Kenyans about the opposition of KANU by a group of politicians under the umbrella of Rainbow Coalition, the real Raila surprised everyone in attendance. David Musila, in his book Seasons of Hope, remembers the incidents as follows. The Uhuru Park rally that Sunday was one of the biggest masses of people assembled in one place in Kenya since independence. I thought the news people were right. We strode together from Serena and made a dramatic entry into Uhuru Park. To our delight, both the leaders from NAC and Ford people joined us for the public meeting. The message was clear. A united opposition to KANU was in place. However, we could not ignore the urgency of the need to know who would be our flag bearer. The multitude was anxious. No one had an answer to that question. When it was Raila Odinga's turn to speak, he suddenly shouted his now famous Kibaki Tosha slogan. Yep, to everyone's surprise, Raila publicly endorsed the opposition candidate, branding himself the kingmaker. Yet, even after saying Kibaki Tosha, apparently Kibaki was not Tosha 5 years later, because you guessed it right, in 2007, Raila arrived for yet another wedding. And if you're keeping count, that's number 3. He lost once more to Kibaki, but this was proving too much for the now aging Raila, and he wouldn't go quietly. He disputed the elections, and chaos ensued. Almost 1,000 Kenyans lost their lives. Thousands more were displaced, refugees in their own country.
Kwa hivyo mtu akija hapa awaambie ati msichague hii watu, mnakumbuka yale yalitendeka, kwani yeye mwenyewe alikuwa wapi na yeye alikuwa katikati ya hiyo vita?
Of course, Raila claims he had nothing to do with the post-election violence.
Alafu anakuja na laumu huyu ndugu yangu na yeye ndio alikuja kuwasha moto. Nani aliwasha moto? Nani alikuwa na lugha ya 40 against 1? Bana tuambiane ukweli.
But the peace deal that ended the violence, chaired by the then US Secretary General Kofi Annan, was brokered between him and Kibaki. Makes me wonder, if Raila was not part of it, and one group was fighting for Kibaki, and the other group was fighting for another person not involved in the peace deal, why did the peace deal work? Why didn't those ignored people keep on fighting? But what do I know, right? I'm just a Kenyan trying to make ends meet and supposed to believe everything that politicians say.
Building industries here at home, we can create the kind of economy that will generate 5 million new jobs over the next 5 years.
Anyway, in 2013, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Dr. William Ruto were sent to The Hague for the violence in 2007 elections. Whether Raila was involved in that process is up for debate, but it presented him the best opportunity yet to finally become president and be the bride. This was the first time Raila christened his followers Israelites, and he, the Joshua that would take them to Canaan. But that journey was stalled by the crocodiles when Uhuru Kenyatta was not jailed in Hague.
Tulikuwa tunapeleka watu Canaan, tukafika mto Jordan, tukakuta mamba. Ndio tukaongea na wewe, tukasema tujenga daraja kuvuka mto Jordan kuingia Canaan.
By the way, did Uhuru know that Raila called him a crocodile? I don't think so. The same crocodiles, I'm beginning to think he meant Uhuru and Ruto. Once again, they stopped Raila's Israelites from crossing River Jordan in 2017. The following year, Raila boycotted the repeat elections, citing lack of substantial reforms. But, like the chameleon he is, a month later he decided if you can't beat them, join them. So he allied with Uhuru Kenyatta in the now famous handshake, thereby killing opposition in Kenya. A democracy cannot function without an opposition. Despite his unrelenting quest for power, Raila acted as a good buffer between the public and Uhuru government's wanton embezzlement of public funds, and that was before the handshake. Although he himself will forever be entwined in various scandals in Kenya, the maize scandal comes to mind, he did cry foul over Eurobond, the runaway spending on the SGR, among others. But after the handshake, the man has been awfully quiet about the Waiguru NYS disaster, the sugar scandals, and the rest. We'll cover them in details in a corruption episode. But the question is, where has Raila stayed, ma'am?
Tumekubaliana na Uhuru tujenge madaraja. Ili manake mtu Jordan iko na mamba.
What does this tell you? Raila is not interested in the plight of the common man. All he cares about is becoming president, and he will do anything to achieve this goal. His favorite and most dangerous route is constitutional reform through referendums, a way to create a position perfect for him and his cronies. The most recent is the BBI scam that we covered in our first episode, which begs the question, if someone outside the government is willing to institute constitutional change to acquire power, what would he do to stay in power? A Raila presidency would probably not be any different from what we currently have or have had since independence. Reigns of power-hungry oligarchs who will spare no cost to stay on the throne. But it is alarming to think what he could do to our constitution or whatever will be remaining of it if things don't go his way. Currently, in the US, the so-called world's largest democracy, Trump is considering the unthinkable.
And we're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And then after that, we'll negotiate, right? Because we're probably, based on the way we were treated, we're probably entitled to another 4 after that.
Here in Kenya, what happens next is up to the voting public. If we allow a constitutional change that will keep the current government in power and add a few more heads from the other side of the fence, we will have no one to blame but ourselves. Not Baba, not Udhamaki, not the handshake, and not a fictitious journey to Canaan. Whatever the case, I predict Raila will don another dress and attend another wedding in 2022. Who knows? It might be 6th time the charm. And now, what the fuck did I just see?
No maana bwana na pia hata anajisumbukana. Huyu mama kona shida kweli. Alafu sahi.
Ate what?
Tunasikia bunduki na tuangala hata sijui bunduki imetoka wapi. Unasikiza? Alafu huyo mama anauawa hapa na watoto wake 4 wadogo hata umewaona. Huyo mama anaenda watoto watateseka na nani? Hiyo jambazi sijui ameiba mali wapi. Koro wanabunga kaa tumedharauliwa sana. Hata mwizi akiba mahali ni wabunga. Mwizi akitoka wapi ni wabunga.